This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Tiege Hanley, Uncomplicated Skincare for Men.
Fires one towards the goal. That's going to be gloved by Travis Ridgen. Well, this is more like it.
This is Slangin The Bizkit. Here's Travis Ridgen and Dave Wheeler.
Gotta give it that hot TUAH, spit on that thang.
Every once in a while, somebody jumps on the internet and says, I'll take the attention for my 15 minutes, and we got hooked.
Man, there was some of the remixes that are coming out that you gotta give it that hot TUAH, spit on the thang. Hot TUAH, spit on the thang.
Gotta knock cobwebs off that thing, that's all I'm saying.
I love you, Pookie.
God love her. God love her. That's why I love the internet, man. You know what? Trying to remember his name right now. It escapes me. Famous artist back in New York, back in the day. Anyways, his famous quote was, everyone will have their 15 minutes of fame, and he died before the internet came out, but man, did he ever nail it. Did he ever nail it.
Man, I love the Southern ladies. Southern women are so great. I don't know if I ever told you, there was this one lady that I went on a couple dates with when I was in Mississippi for that short period of time. She was a teacher, and she was telling me, she said, I teach grade 2, and the Southern accent's coming back, by the way. I teach grade 2, and the school district said I'm supposed to refer to my children as cats, and I said no. They said you got to put a litter box in the classroom. I said hell no. I ain't doing none of that. They are children. I love the South.
Andy Warhol, by the way, is who I was thinking of. Andy Warhol. Thank you to everyone that's already commented down in the comment section if you're watching on the YouTubes.
Well, there you go.
By the way, thank you to all the comments down to the people on the YouTubes who were calling us out for last week's episode going, you guys were still brave to put out this episode after Edmonton stomped on the Florida Panthers 8-1 in Game 4. And listen, we got a series, man. We got a series. Tomorrow night, it's going to be a big game. Oilers and Panthers for all the marbles. Game 7 hasn't happened since 1942 where a team has come back from 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals, and that was the Toronto Maple Leafs. I had the Florida Panthers winning this series, but just to hedge it a little bit, I had a friend, my co-host from the show, Tyler Carr, went down to Las Vegas this week to go see Lady Gaga, and so I gave him $30, and I said, put 30, this is when the Oilers were down 3-2, I said, put 20 on their $30 on the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup, so we'll see. We'll see.
Did he?
Oh, yeah, he put the money down, showed me the ticket and everything, so if they win, he'll be collecting Tuesday before he gets on an airplane, and somebody's going to be celebrating with the Stanley Cup for your birthday.
That's true. That's true. You know the last team to go up 3-0, blow the lead, and then win it in Game 7?
I want to say it was the Chicago Blackhawks, but it's probably the Washington Capitals. No, it's not the Caps.
It was the Chicago Blackhawks, the Vancouver Canucks 2011, but it was also the San Jose Sharks the following round. They went up 3-0 against the Red Wings in 2011, blew it, and then in Game 7 closed out the Wings. So it's possible. It's doable.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, I think one thing I haven't liked is after the Oilers put that 8-1 win last week on Game 4, I thought it was the hubris. And again, I've mentioned this before, and I'll preface this by saying I grew up in oil country. I grew up in Fort McMurray, about 4.5 hours northeast of Edmonton, and so I get it. But the people saying, pressure's on Florida now. What? You've won one game. What do you mean pressure's on Florida? Florida loses another game, they still get to play. Florida loses another game, they still get to play. Listen, the pressure's on because you're playing for the Stanley Cup. Pressure's on because you've got a 3-0 lead. But to say that, we won one game, pressure's on, I think that is the kind of hubris that I just, ever so slightly, they inch their way, Oilers fans inch their way into that category of being the new Leaf fans, where they're just like, we're down 3-1, but, pressure's on them. What? Who talks like that? You're down 3-1. Shut up and just go, God, I hope we can pull this off. That's the kind of fan base that most people are like, hey, we're cheering for you. We're with you. We got hope. You're the underdog, not this like, no, don't worry. We got this. We got this. Pressure's on Florida now. I've never understood that.
That's one of my pet peeves. When teams have sporting fans and they'll say, we are one game. Do you play for the team, dog? No, you don't. It's not we. It's the team that you support. You are not a part of the team. You're just a fan.
Yes, I get that. But at the same time, all the teams do a great job marketing, hashtag we're in this together, pardon me. I've got a bit of a cough. You're going to have to be dealing with this for most of the show. It's just a dry cough. It's not anything serious, but it's just for the amount of money that people pour into this, for the amount that people driving Zambonis around the city. I can understand how you all feel like it, and then especially when when a good portion of the country jumps on board, and like, hey, we need a Canadian team. By the way, you threw me a trivia question. I'll throw you a trivia question. Name the most recent Canadian team outside of the Edmonton Oilers and Montreal Canadiens to win a Stanley Cup.
Calgary Flames, 89.
You got it, nailed it, absolutely. So that's the only three. The last three Canadian teams are the Habs, the Oilers, and the Flames.
I wasn't even alive. Were you around for that? You should know all about that.
Not only was I around for that, I actually bet on the Vancouver Canucks to win the Stanley Cup against the Boston Bruins, because when the Olympics were held in Montreal the next year, the Habs won the Cup. When the Olympics were held in Calgary, year after, Calgary won the Cup. And so I thought Vancouver just had the Olympics in the Stanley Cup Finals. History is going to repeat itself, and it didn't.
Hey, what time is it in Florida?
A lot of goals past Bobrovsky.
8 past Bob in Game 4. 4 in Game 6. Tough sledding.
It's interesting going back and looking at some of the things that we talked about even last year in the Stanley Cup Finals, where you talked about Bob and all of the weight that he lost and just all of the physical stress that he went under. And I haven't seen anyone really talk about it because he's still playing quite well. But I wonder if fatigue is starting to get to Bob a little bit. I mean, he lets in 8, lets in 5 Friday night.
Well, technically, he didn't give up 8. He gave up, I think, 4, and then Stolarz went in there and gave up 4. Also, man, what a tough gig. You haven't played in 2 months. Thrown in there, Oilers power play coming in. Anthony Stolarz, man, that's a tough job to go and execute. So tip of the hat to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Oilers are playing good. Oilers are playing like the Oilers mid-season. And it was really interesting because when they started the season on that losing streak and then went down 3-0, I thought, oh, man, they're going to end the season the same way they started it. But a lot of statisticians were pulling it out. We've talked about, data and whatnot on this show and how important that is. It's becoming very much like Moneyball, where you're looking at the stats and you're trying to pour through the stats, trying to find that extra edge, that extra angle. And it's interesting to see how the Oilers are responding after they got off the schneid there early in the season and how they responded, especially some of the point getters and whatnot. So, yeah, it's just it's interesting. Statistical hockey is starting to look a lot like America's pastime in baseball.
It's tough, though. Like, I think they were giving up 10 goals off the rush in the last 2 games. And it doesn't matter how good your goaltender is. It doesn't matter how mobile, how flexible, the fact that they have, in my opinion, the best goalie in the world in their cage. When you're letting the team cross Main Street like that, how many times you're going to have a hard time no matter who you put in it. And you even see it on the second goal tonight. Pass all the way across the crease. Guy's wide open, puts it off against the grain. That saucer pass by Draisaitl. Wow, what a nasty sauce bomb. Backdoor, Fogel's open. Like, what's Bob supposed to do? All right, like, we got to play a little bit better defense. It's tough, though. Tough sledding out there.
Well, and again, I mean, I think, talking about Bobrovsky and his style of goaltending, I think what the Oilers are trying to do now, if you looked at a few of these goals, they're trying to stretch him out. They're trying to get him moving as far across that crease as they possibly can because they know that he wants to get his entire body in front of the shot rather than get his extremities out there to make those big, long catches and whatnot, which he's done. But I think they're really trying to get him to go post to post and crease to crease and get outside of that paint and get an open cage because they know it's really hard to get it if you shoot it at him.
Well, that's a great observation, too. Have you noticed as well, they're shooting for holes. The Hyman third goal, stretched out, full splits all the way. They chip it off his elbow between the pad and in. Like, they're shooting for holes intentionally because, as you mentioned, when you start stretching out and spreading like that, you open up holes. There's a gaping hole between the arm, underneath the glove every single time. Although he is elite at closing down the hole with his hands on top when he spreads out, but man, they're finding a way right now, and they're going back in for Game 7. So
it's going to be a heck of a game, man. Like I said, enjoy your birthday. Someone's going to lift the Stanley Cup on your birthday. I'm actually celebrating my 12th wedding anniversary today. Me and my happy anniversary to my beautiful wife, Candace, right? 12 years. Who'd have thunk it? Been together for 15, married for 12.
My turn for trivia. You know the last team to win the Stanley Cup on my birthday?
Last team to win the Stanley Cup on your birthday, I think that would be the Caps, wouldn't it?
Nope. That is the 2013 Chicago Blackhawks in Boston.
There you go. Actually had a guy by the name of Matty Ryan in the studio. He's a Chicago guy, and he was very pleased to be in the hometown of Jonathan Toews, the guy that brought in all the Stanley Cups for him. So he recognized Winnipeg. I thought that was pretty cool.
Seriously, though, Bob came in, I think, 984, 985 save percentage coming into Game 4. And since then, 760, 750 save percentage. It's tough sledding out there, man. Red light Bob. Or I saw somebody put in the comment section the other day, red light Ridgeon. But, man, you know what could help Bob with all those red lights and that sunburn? Tiege Hanley, uncomplicated skincare for men. Tiege Hanley, it is uncomplicated skincare for men. They give you everything you need, nothing you don't. And if you got a sunburn on the back of your neck, you're going to want to put on that AM moisturizer when you're waking up from morning skate. Trust me. Right now, you go to the link in the video description, you click on that, you're going to get up to 40% off Tiege Hanley right now, and you're also going to get the awesome silicone body scrubby, rub-a-dub-dub in the tub. I use it every single day. Honestly, this thing is seriously game-changing. When you're traveling to Edmonton, you're traveling to Spain for the upcoming season, being able to rub-a-dub-dub and really exfoliate, it's awesome. I got the AM moisturizer, the PM moisturizer, the daily face wash, the charcoal, twice a week weekly cleanse, and thanks to Tiege Hanley for sponsoring the show. You got to check it out. Seriously, some awesome skincare, specifically for men. We got like a 95% male demographic watching the show. Upgrade your skincare today. And man, if you got a sunburn on the back of your neck, why do you think I'm using it? After the past 2 seasons, I needed it.
Well, listen, I think Connor Hellebuck said it well in the first series, and people are like, oh, the amount of goals. He's like, it's the playoffs. Nobody cares about goals against and whatnot. You care about wins. That's it. Doesn't matter if your goal save percentage is higher than it was in the regular season. Wins. That's all it comes down to, is how many W's did you get? Did you get the 16 you needed to lift the Stanley Cup? That's it.
And Stuart Skinner, talk about showing up. For whatever reason, this guy decided to wake up and start stopping pucks, controlling rebounds. And I mean, outside of him losing his jockstrap up in the 300 section of Rogers Place to Barkov on the first goal tonight, man, he's been lights out the last 3 games. He's been sharp.
Listen,
real sharp.
I think more hockey. Listen, if there's anyone that needs a good swift roast by myself and Travis Ridgen, apparently when we roast people on this show, they turn around and have great games. Stuart Skinner, Darnell Nurse. I went upside and down the other of him last week, and he's coming out and he's played really well.
I wonder to what degree, if anybody watches that. Like, if Stuart Skinner sees that when I'm bitching about his body language, he's like, yeah, you know what? Trav's right. Chin up, shoulders out. I'm the man. Walk around. Cock of the walk. Let's peacock the Florida Panthers into Game 7. Who knows? He
was beatboxing his way all the way into the paint there on Friday night. I had no idea. Clip came up on my social media of him doing some beatboxing.
Your social media?
As I said, I use ghost accounts to go and do my research, but I don't do any posting. That's not me.
I still say 200 Patreon members. We got to get you on social media. Dave Wheeler, Slangin The Bizkit. Let's go. Oh, that's my dishwasher, by the way. I finished the dishes.
What's her name?
Belinda. Speaking of taking out the trash, did you see Ron McLean? He I have it in the notes. He threw an Oilers jersey on the floor of the CBC broadcast. Kevin Bieksa picked it up. I mean, he's used to throwing things underneath, so, I mean, like Don Cherry, right?
What was the context? Give me a little more context. Why did he do that?
I don't know. I just saw a meme where Ron's holding up a jersey, and then he threw it on the floor, and then Kevin Bieksa picked it up. And I just thought, man, CBC would be so much better with Don Cherry. We need to bring Grapes back.
You know what? I think Bieksa's been a really good fill, and he brings a little bit of spice here and there. He's, I think he's good. And if they're smart, they'll keep him around long term. I think he does a good job of not being afraid of saying things when he needs to be said. He'll call out Kelly Rudy when need be, and Friedman, and even Ron and Jennifer Botterill. I like that panel. I think that panel's really good. I think they've got a solid one there. I mean, Ron's not going to be there for a whole lot longer, so I'm curious to see who they squeeze in there to take over. Probably David Amber, but no, I think the panel's good. I mean, do I miss Don? Sure, but if you do you listen to Don's podcast? Then you don't miss him that much.
Oh, we got our own podcast to do. I'd love to have Don on the show, by the way. That'd be awesome.
Good luck.
Hard man to get a hold of?
From what I understand, yeah. When he first started his podcast, my company reached out to see if they needed any help, and they had everything covered. But yeah, he's. I think he's happy just to kind of do his gig. I think in a weird way it was a blessing in disguise. He can work from home now. He doesn't have to go into the studio and whatnot. And I think he's kind of enjoying it. He's I think slowed down is the wrong word, but I think he's very comfortable in the role he's doing now.
You don't see as much military appreciation, though. Like every Remembrance Day, like every single week you'd be talking about the military, and it's kind of a missing piece on CBC nowadays.
Well, listen, as the proud father of a cadet who just graduated his first year, finished off his first year.
Snaps for your boy.
What are we doing slam poetry now? Bunch of
You never do that in the locker room? You never have that snaps to the boys, player of the game? Snaps fellas. Come on.
No, I've only seen that during slam poetry.
You're not that old, are you?
Do you not know what slam poetry is? Trust me.
Apparently.
No, listen, man. I'm in Winnipeg here. We used to have a huge base called Cap Young Barracks right down in the middle of the city. We still got 17 wing. We've got a very, very proud military tradition here in Winnipeg. We got Shiloh just outside of the city. So yeah, we got a lot of bases. There's always Hercs flying over top and jets going by. It's pretty cool.
Also, we had a bunch of winners last week. I asked a question, what podcast do you listen to? We'll do it again this week. If you have a podcast you're listening to that isn't us, I'd love to hear about the comment section. Even if it is us, leave a comment. But to anybody in the military, send me a message. If you're a member of the military, thank you for your service, and we'll get you out some trading cards and maybe see if we can get you hooked up with some sweet swag for your service, because we here actually appreciate the military. We have a lot of members of the military that watch the show, and to you, thank you so much.
Yep, very much appreciated. Yep, I always give, whenever I see one of the guys in full CAD pad uniform, or if they're wearing anything in recognition, I'll always try and pick up their meal at a convenience store or wherever we are in a drive-thru or whatnot. So yeah, listen, man, those men and women are very brave and very important.
And speaking of uniform, though, Markstrom got traded. Actually, we had a couple goalie trades. Markstrom going from Calgary to New Jersey for a first-round pick and some other guy that I don't remember his name. You got any thoughts on that trade? I thought that was a really interesting one.
I think Calgary's really putting a lot of stock in Wolf, and I think they're going to keep him up on the big club all year next year. He's got to be a happy guy.
Man, he is nasty, though. Shortest guy in the league by far, but it just goes to show you like how hard that Dustin Wolf has worked, and he hasn't gotten his opportunity despite being back-to-back-to-back goalie of the year in the American League. Now Markstrom's gone, enter in the era of Dustin Wolf. Also, Dan Vladar just had hip surgery as well, so Wolf and Vladar, you got a 5'10" and 6'6" guy. What a combination.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't think Calgary's quite out of the woods yet. I think they've still got another year of adding a few more pieces. I don't think that's going to solve it. So, I think they're making. I think Craig Conroy's making some good steps in that direction, though.
I've had a couple of viewers reach out, ask, can we talk more specifics of goaltending? And from my perspective, I don't know if you've seen this as well, Dave, but Markstrom's post work is absolutely elite. His ability to flatten out and stay mobile, great active hands. I mean, 6'6", he's an absolute unit net, and also devilishly good looking. Like, that guy is so good looking. You feel the same way or no?
Well, listen, it's a shame he's got to put his head behind a mask. All those good looking goaltenders out there.
There was a girl in Vancouver who was a model and a friend of mine. From what I heard, absolute alpha, a man of men, the man's man. Jacob Markstrom is. Can't confirm or deny, but
that's a good reputation to have follow you around, regardless.
Hey man, when chicks are telling other dudes, "Hey, yeah, this guy was the man," that's a pretty good review right there. That's the ultimate review.
Well, it's like a buddy of mine. He said, "Yeah, I got this reputation of being bad in bed." I'm like, "Oh, that sucks." He goes, "Not really. Women are really curious to find out just how bad."
What is it? Weaponized incompetence. You do such a bad job washing the dishes, you'll never have to do them ever again.
Well, right, exactly. You just throw your hands up, going, "I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm sorry."
Ooh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the whites in with the reds and turn on a hot wash. Oh, sorry, honey. Can't do it no more. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm an idiot.
I don't know. Plead ignorance every time.
Does that work for you, though? Somebody was asking the other day, can Dave talk about being married to a Playboy model and the ins and outs of marriage and how he's made it work for so long? Somebody actually asked that, one of our Patreon members.
Compromise. Absolutely compromise. My brother actually gave my wife and I a good compliment years ago. I think we were celebrating our 5th or 6th wedding anniversary, and he said, it's amazing because for both of our careers, as far as, you know, me doing radio and media and whatnot, and then her doing the modeling, they both kind of have a spotlight to a certain extent. And he says usually, you know, you would, in most relationships, you would each have your own spotlight, where we've kind of learned how to share one, which is really cool. So, I mean, she's integrated herself extremely well. I mean, her and I did a podcast for the better part of every single day, for the better part of 3 years, and she was absolutely amazing. And it's funny, people are saying, it's crazy, you guys have such good chemistry. And I'm thinking, I hope so. Like, we've been married for a while, and we like talking to each other, so it should translate onto a microphone. But as far as being married to a Playboy model, I mean, listen, she's a beautiful, beautiful woman and stunning, and she's aging extremely well. So, I mean, that's for a half-blind guy, it's great for me. But as far as the day-to-day, what really matters is we get along, we do a lot of compromise. We always joke that our life never has a dull moment. We've raised 2 amazing boys thus far, and she's a great mother, and she's a huge support system, and I try to do the same for her, and it's just supporting each other, and it's amazing. I'm not saying all have lost it, but when you're doing your vows and you say, you know, for better or worse, through the good times and bad, you really got to remember that you said that. You stood in front of each other, in front of a whole bunch of people, and said, doesn't matter how bad it gets or how good it gets, you know, through the good times and the bad, and Sometimes you got to drag yourself through those bad times. So I've been pretty lucky to have a great partner to share these last 12 years with, and I look forward to a lot more because, when you find your person, you hang on to them as long as you can. And unlike my dog.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. You need a corgi? I got an extra one.
No, for those that don't know, she's made an appearance on the show a couple times with my baby girl, my Panda, my 140-pound Saint Bernard full of slobber. She's reached the end of her lifespan, unfortunately, and we've had to make the very adult decision to have her euthanized. She's got a hole in her spleen that's become cancerous, and she's getting some other things that are showing up as a byproduct of that. And so we've made the very hard decision to take her pain away, and we're going to be saying goodbye to her this week after doing a little bit of a last tour and doing a little family photo shoot so we can remember our time. But yeah, there'll be an empty spot in the corner of the bedroom where she normally sleeps.
Any plans for replacement anytime soon?
It's funny. The reason why we got Panda is I was a bit heartbroken after we lost our Great Dane. We had a Great Dane Mastiff cross named Vegas, and we only had her 6.5 years. We lost her to bone cancer, and Panda 6.5. And I said to my wife after, I said, I'm going to need some time after this one. I said, that really breaks my heart. And within 3 weeks, Panda was in our house. And I was kind of upset about it at first. I'm like, I wanted more time. I wanted more time to grieve. But I'm happy she made the decision to bring another dog in the house. And it reminded me of a quote that I had read. And it said, if your pet could speak to you from beyond the grave, they would say, please don't wait too long to give my favorite bed, my favorite toy, and my favorite scratches to another deserving dog that you will give all of that love to. So there's some things that we got to take care of this summer as far as, vacation and whatnot. So getting a new puppy in the house isn't going to be conducive right away, but I don't think we'll wait too long.
Maybe we could start that corgi breeding farm we've been talking about, you and I, for a while.
I don't know what it is, but my youngest boy, I don't know if it's all the pictures that I show him that you send, but he loves corgis, man. He loves corgis. I think you've got him hooked.
Man, I had an altercation in the elevator the other day. So I saw this blonde corgi. He was so fat and fluffy. And, I mean, his owner was pretty good looking, too. And so I ended up coming into my apartment building, and she was in there. And so I'm like, oh, my God, this is great. I can pet the dog, and I can maybe set up like a corgi play date. And she was so goddamn unfriendly.
Aww.
I petted the dog, and I was like, what's the dog's name? Marty. God. How old is he? 3. Jeez. People in Vancouver suck.
Well, listen, I'm not going to call out everybody, but a lot of times the behavior of the animal is a good reflection of the ownership.
The animal was cute, and she was too, but she was an asshole?
Well, the dog, just because the dog's cute doesn't mean the dog was nice.
That's true. He seemed really friendly when I went to go pet him. He was like jumping on me, and he's all excited and frisky and stuff, but who knows?
Get me away from this human, please. Take me. You seem like a corgi lover. Take me.
Man, you got to imagine how often that dog gets petted by everybody thinking he's cute and adorable, and he's just like, oh, God, another white guy trying to pet me.
I bring the St. Bernard. I've brought it into the kids' programs and whatnot, and I give her credit, man. She's had, I think, like just every single kid possible, just pawing all over her and giving her big hugs and trying to crawl on her, and she's as patient as can be.
I did also want to say, I know we talked about this in private a couple months ago, but just to piggyback off your topic about being married to Candace, they say you find out a woman's loyalty when a man has nothing, and you find out a man's loyalty when a man has everything. And I don't know if this is too personal, but when you got canned from City in 2018, 2019, whenever that was, man, that's a test of Candace's loyalty, man. So you got a good woman over there.
Stronger women would have bailed a lot sooner, man. I'll tell you, we went through some rough times, but I just to bring up another quote that was given to me by a dear friend, George Sigerson, who said, "Tough times doesn't reveal character. No, sorry, tough times doesn't build character; it reveals it." So I always keep that one in my back pocket. Actually, I got to mention this really quickly. Since we're talking about competition, I brought up George Sigerson's name. He's a dear friend here in Winnipeg. He's been my financial advisor and takes care of my life insurance and whatnot, and has for the past 20 years. But Aaron Cockerell is a mutual friend of ours. He's been playing over on the DP World Tour and playing very well. He was back in Manitoba visiting some friends and family over the summer and decided to go out and just play a casual round at Niakwa Golf and Country Club, which is a private club in close to downtown Winnipeg here. He just goes out, just kind of, hey, just having some fun. Goes out and shoots the course record, 12 under with a hole-in-one on hole number 9. It's just casual round, course record, no big deal.
Two things. I used to date a cart girl who worked in Niakwa Golf Course, and I got a pair of golf shoes so I can whoop your ass in 3 weeks in Saskatoon.
It's all about the shoes, baby. Bring them. Let's go. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Bring your wallet.
I even went to the Nike store today to try to buy a hat. They didn't have anything that fit my big melon. So I might get a little bit of sunburn on the back and the front of my head, but hey, you're getting smoked, old man.
We just need to get you a 10-gallon Stetson.
Like a cowboy hat?
Yes, sir.
Man, think of all the things you could put in there. You could put like a liter of clam chowder in there, or some, I don't know, some water or something.
You could rent it out to a small immigrant family. They'd be happy to live in a hat that big.
Shit, you could probably rent it out in Vancouver. Someone will pay $1,200 a month to rent that thing.
Totally. Absolutely.
Spit on that thing.
Have a Slurpee machine in there. Oh, my God, you're going to bring up that girl. Spit on that thing. God. How many mentions is she going to get on the show today?
We got a hot tour. Spit on that thing.
Between her and the Edmonton Oilers topless girl who is making all the rounds. Spittin Chiclets, I think, has adopted her as their mascot. They're dragging her around everywhere.
Man, you see her response? She came out as hiding in silence on social media, and she said, F you. If you didn't like that I whipped out my bombs, my headlights, too bad. I'm going to do it again.
Well, I saw Playboy magazine. Actually, I think got her on for a photo shoot, a digital photo shoot. They had released a couple of photos of her putting skates on in a locker room on their social media page.
Hey, good for her.
Yeah, why not? Like I said, man, 15 minutes of fame. Andy Warhol said it best.
One of our listeners actually commented the other day. They're saying that, have you ever noticed how many NHL wives will be with their man for the duration of their career, and once the career is over, they bounce, see you later? You ever notice that?
I haven't really kept tabs on that, to be honest with you. I think a lot of times you get used to living this lifestyle where your spouse is on the road for periods of time, and once they're done playing and they're around all the time, it's like, oh, jeez. Should we be spending this much time together? Don't you have a road trip to go on?
Nope.
Well, I told my wife when we first got together, I said, listen, I don't know how long this is when we were first dating. I said, I thought maybe before we just got married, but I said, listen, it won't be boring. I will promise you that. It will not be boring. And every once in a while, she reminds me, she's like, well, it's not boring.
That is awesome. That's the dream right there, no? He's like, yeah, you buried us again, Dave, but goddamn, is it never a dull moment over here.
I want that written on my epitaph. Never a dull moment.
Man, speaking of never a dull moment, you got to sharpen up with the team at Manscaped.com. The Beard Hedger, the Lawnmower, the second sponsor for the show right now. You get the Beard Hedger. It's what I use every single week to fade and taper my beard. It's got 20 different lengths, 60 minutes of battery life, water resistant as well. And right now, when you go to the link in the video description, you get the Lawnmower as well as the Beard Hedger. Your Lawnmower takes care of all your below-the-belt grooming. And you get 20% off and free shipping only from the team at Manscaped.com. Did I mention it has a flashlight? Water resistant as well. 90 minutes of battery life on the Lawnmower, 60 on the Beard Hedger. And thanks to the team at Manscaped for sponsoring the show.
Amazing. Amazing. Where are you going to be watching the game from tomorrow night?
Oh, good question. I don't know. Probably my shack over here.
Not going to go and make a big deal out of it anywhere?
My birthday?
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I thought. You go out and watch somewhere, celebrate, have some coffee, some more coffee, and then coffee cake.
Well, the coffee, absolutely. Yeah, there'll be a couple pots of Joe on hand. But you ever notice this? Like, chicks love to make a huge deal of the birthday. They got birthday weeks, they got birthday months, and then dudes are just like, it's Monday. Like, that's it. Like, my chick was asking me the other day, she's like, what do you want to do for your birthday? What are we going to celebrate? And she's a wonderful woman, by the way. But I said, we don't got to do anything. Just, I don't know, make sure there's a hot pot of coffee waiting, whenever we hang out. And I don't know, maybe let's go get a nice Trenta ice water cup from Starbucks and, get a couple refills. That's all I need. The 24th is just another Monday. Yeah, I'm turning 28, but it's just Monday.
Then maybe go watch the hockey game somewhere. Say, hey, if you want to come watch the hockey game with me in some dirty bar somewhere.
Hey, baby, why don't you come over and let's put it on the illegal streaming website that I have that I just gave Dave before the start of the show. Let's stream it for free, and then we'll order some room service coffee.
Listen, aren't all the Boston pizzas out in British Columbia cheering for the Oilers anyways?
That's a good question. I don't know what the nearest Boston pizza is. I haven't seen a Boston pizza in my neighborhood.
I think that was just the one in Kelowna, by the way, that was getting threats of being firebombed for putting on their moniker, cheering for the Oilers. And people are like, what? You got to cheer for the Canucks. What are your beats? British Columbia, it's our team. Ah!
And you remember when Boston Pizza changed like the name of all the restaurants in Vancouver from Boston Pizza to Vancouver Pizza? They just like X'd out the Boston during 2011. You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. That was pretty good marketing. I'll give Boston Pizza credit. They do some great marketing during the playoffs, that's for sure.
They do. Who owns Brad Tree Living? His dad owns Boston Pizza or started Boston Pizza, but he's out of a job now, so I guess he'll be flipping dough for a bit.
I think there's I think it's owned by an ownership group, and then they franchise out. But yeah, I've been to Boston Pizzas down in Mexico. They got them all over the place, man. It's consistent pizza. I'll tell you that.
Man, Vancouver summer though. Vancouver summer's here. It's such a. If you haven't noticed, Dave was giving me shit before the start of the show. I'm not wearing the collar this week because it was like plus 28, plus 29, plus 30 today. I'm sweating like a hooker in church. I don't know why you bring a hooker to church, but if you did, she'd be sweating like I am right here in my apartment.
Because she needs to repent, sir. Because she needs to repent.
Okay, yeah, she's an OnlyFans chick. Now she's coming to church. She's going to go, hot tour, spit on that thing, and then come to church on Sunday.
Something like that. Listen, let's wrap this up so I can get back to celebrating my anniversary and I can get ready for the Game 7 tomorrow night. It's going to be a good one, man. I'm going to be up late for that one. I'm calling overtime. There's going to be a game. We'll wrap it up with another trivia question. Do you remember the last time an overtime goal was scored to win the Stanley Cup and who it was?
2014 Los Angeles Kings and Alec Martinez.
Are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't Patrick Kane scoring for the Chicago Blackhawks?
No, that was 2010. Blackhawks and
look
Philly.
At you go.
Alec
Well
Martinez
done.
was 2014 Rangers Kings Game 5 off the rebound off Hank's right pad.
Nice. Look at you go. Look at you. That one was actually celebrated a lot. When Patrick Kane scored his goal, no one knew it went in. He's going down the ice. No one's cheering for him. They're all sitting on the bench waiting for the call. And he's like, I win. It went in. I swear it went in. And there was like, okay. And he goes down, hugs the goalie by himself. It was one of the most awkward overtime game-winning goals for the Stanley Cup I'd ever seen.
Prediction, score, saves.
I think it'll be a 3-2 final. I don't know who it's going to be. I think if it's the Oilers, it'll be Zach Hyman. If it's Florida, it will be Sam Bennett. Who do you got?
I'm going Cats 3-1. It's going to be a repeat of 07 with the Canes dusting off the Oilers in 7. I'm going Bob makes 39 stops. Skinner's going to give us something to talk about and shit on him for the following week. And cup-winning goal, I'm going Ekblad. There you go, 3-1 Cats. I don't really care who wins, to be honest with you, but
you're not even going to hedge it on the other side. You're not gonna take an Oiler just in case.
Oilers 6-0. McDavid with the winner in the first period.
Who's ever closer gets free coffee next time we're in the same city.
Loser has to remove their other eye.
All right, let's finish it off on my cuff.
All right, thanks everybody for listening. This is Slangin The Bizkit. That is Dave Wheeler. He's got the top morning radio show in the city of Winnipeg. I'm Travis Ridgen, your favorite minor pro hockey goaltender. Just a reminder, next week will be the final episode Dave and I do for the summer. We're going to be doing a reaction series and some summer interviews.
Yeah, so not the last episode, but the last episode like this. We're going to do another stuff. We got you covered throughout the summer. Don't worry.
But yes, this will be the last episode in this format next week.
Right.
And then the summer stuff. But until then, we will see you next week at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Eastern, downtown Toronto, outside the CN Tower, 10 a.m. in downtown Winnipeg, 9 a.m. in Saskatoon and Calgary, and 8 a.m. in the Pacific Northwest here in downtown Vancouver. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.